Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. We'll be giving you all the first appearances in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty light week for you guys. I think we only have 2 first appearances, but we do have 8 honorable mentions, so 10 titles in all to go through. Definitely some cool books in there you want to pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending August 26, 2022. First up from Marvel Comics, Carnage number 5. This features the first appearance of a Hellbound companion of Carnage. Now, you know, the Carnage franchise, part of the Venom Spider-Man universe, incredibly popular, and this is the Carnage title series. This is the first appearance of a new character within this title series, so in our opinion, this one here is definitely worth picking up for your collection. You know, Marvel, Disney is still churning out a ton of media for that Venom franchise, and the Carnage character, incredibly popular. This is one we do think you should pick up. Go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Fantastic Four number 46. This features the first full appearance of the sister of Reed Richards, cameo in Fantastic Four number 35. You know, Marvel, Disney have big plans for the Fantastic Four franchise, so any first appearances in the Fantastic Four title series, these are definitely books you want to pick up and add to your collection. You know, Marvel, Disney have been trying to get the rights back to Fantastic Four for a while. They finally got them back, I think last year, maybe a year before. But now they can actually put out some feature films, TV shows, and streaming series, and you know, they're going to definitely take advantage of that. So this one here is definitely one you want to pick up for your collection. Go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From Diamond Comics, Previews number 408. Now this is the actual solicitation catalog that comic shops use to order their books for the upcoming months. Every once in a great while, though, there's first appearances in these, or special items included in the previews themselves that become very, very, very collectible later and go for big money because nobody saves these previews books. You know, take a look at the Marvel's previews as well. Every once in a great while, there's one that has some first appearances or first cover appearances of characters that don't come out to the general public for months. So these books go for incredibly big money when people do save them in mint condition. And in this one here, there's an 8-page bound-in bad idea story titled The Last Supper, which is written by Mark Waid and illustrated by David Lapham. Now this is one, you definitely want to get this if you can. Now a lot of times comic shops will actually carry extra copies of these for some of their patrons, but these are very tough to get if you're not in the industry itself, because like I said, these are the previews catalogs that comic shops use to order their books for the coming months. So this is one you definitely want to grab it if you could find it. This is a bound-in bad idea story. They probably won't reprint this as a standalone later since they actually included it in the previews catalog itself. So this one here, if you could find it, definitely pick this up for your collection. Next up from Lesser Evils, Emmett number 1. After a bad breakup, a young woman conjures a golem from clay, who helps her cope and also seek vengeance for her broken heart. This one here sounds like it lends itself very well to a small screen or big screen project. This one here is definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up. Like I said, the story does lend itself well to one of these projects, but without any history or track record of Lesser Evils actually bringing anything to the screen. Super speculative on this. Pick this one here up if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Opus, Effervescence, Echoes from the Void number 1. This is the adaptation of the band Effervescence's musical catalog, issue number 1, inspired by the song Bitter Truth. Now this is a very interesting idea. Once again, Opus hasn't really had any of their titles picked up an option in the past, and the fact that Opus is actually printing this adaptation of Effervescence's musical catalog, very, very interesting, but we really don't know any kind of future value of this particular series or this particular issue. So this one here, once again, super speculative. It may be cool to own if you're a fan of Effervescence, but like I said, super speculative, so you could probably put this one here on your B-list for now. Next up from Boom Comics, Magic, AJANI GOLDMANE number 1. This features the origin of AJANI GOLDMANE. You know, Magic the Gathering, still incredibly popular franchise. It's going on 30 years. I think their 30-year anniversary is next year. And this one here features the origin of one of their characters. So this one here, in our opinion, is probably worth picking up the spec on for the cover price. You don't want to pay more for this later on. Magic still going strong, like I just said. It'll be going strong into the future. So anytime there's a first appearance or origin story of a new character in a comic book, it's probably worth picking up the spec on. Grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Dark Horse Comics, Minor Threats number 1. A group of small-time bad guys band together to take down an A-list supervillain to ease tensions in the city that began after the murder of a beloved hero sidekick. Now this is one that we did highlight a few weeks ago, if not even a month ago, but for whatever reason it didn't come out at that time, so it's coming out today. This is one that sounds like it can lend itself very well to a small screen or big screen project, and Dark Horse has had a lot of titles picked up and optioned in the past, and it's been a big driver for those series. So this is one that's definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up, but the story sounds like it can lend itself very well, so it may be worth specking on. Grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Marvel Comics, Amazing Spider-Man number 8. This is the debut of the Oscorp Spider-Man suit being utilized. It was seen in the closet in issue number 7. Issue number 7, of course, was the first appearance of the Oscorp Spider-Man suit. It's actually being used in this particular issue, so it's really hard to say how important this particular issue will be going forward. You know, the first appearance was in issue number 7, but this is the first time it's actually being worn and utilized. It really depends on what Marvel does with this particular suit. You know, anytime there's a new artifact or suit or superpower being introduced in the comics, it really depends on what Marvel does with these particular items. If they push them into the MCU and you see them on the big screen or small screen, everybody will race back and try to find the first appearance in the comics. So in our opinion, it's probably worth specking on these Marvel titles. Anytime there's a new outfit or superpower being introduced or a new artifact being introduced, it's probably worth picking up the spec on. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but keep an eye on it. Next up from Marvel Comics, Damage Control number 1. This is a 5-issue limited series by the creator of the TV show The Goldbergs. Now this is the premiere issue of this particular title series, and this is a Marvel comic, and this was created by the same individual that created the TV show The Goldbergs. Anytime there's already a foot in Hollywood for one of these new series, typically those get optioned later on. We can't say for certain, but this was actually created by someone who already has a television show. This is the premiere issue of this particular series. So in our opinion, this one here sounds like it has very high potential to be optioned. Grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. And finally for Marvel Comics, Miles Morales Spider-Man number 41. This features a debut of Spectacular Spider Smasher, aka Billy Morales' suit. Now, like we just mentioned a moment ago, anytime there's a first appearance of a new superpower or suit or artifact in a Marvel title, especially one as popular as the Miles Morales Spider-Man Marvel title series, these are typically titles that you want to pick up and have in your collection at the cover price. Like we said, you don't want to pay more for these later on. Marvel titles are always worth specking on the cover price. You know, for $4 or $5, you could be sitting on a winner later on. Definitely worth picking up in our opinion. Go ahead and grab this one here if you can. If you can't, put it in your B-list, but keep an eye on it. So there you have the 10 titles that we have for you guys this week. Definitely some cool books there you want to pick up for your collection. If you guys can find that previous catalog with that bound in Bad Idea story, definitely pick that up for your collection. It'll be super cool to own. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.